came here with an awareness that I might fail, but that's okay. And why I say that, because one of my bigger fears is fear of public speaking, so this will be interesting. I will tell you my story through 5 chapters, and in each chapter represents how I perceived fear over the years, and what it meant to me, and what was my relationship with it. So I'll start a bit way back. When I was a kid, I was a very active kid, and I loved being outside. I loved competing. I loved playing, and I mostly hung out with boys because at that age I found them to be more active. So I played with them, and because I was playing with them, I thought that I had to be tough. So I saw fear as a weakness. So I thought that I should hide my fears and hide my tears. And yeah, mostly I was appearing tough. And I love sports, and I still do. And I played a lot of things, but the one that stayed with me was basketball. And when I was 8 years old, I played my first game of basketball, and that's when I became hooked. And I remember buying my first basketball. It was green and yellow with some silver lines, and I thought it was so cool. And I remember running back home, bouncing that ball, and being so enthusiastic about it. And I thought, this is the coolest thing ever. So, yeah, I love basketball, and I still do. And basketball for me, it's not only sports. It's for me a big part of my social life, the way I improve, the way I challenge myself, I push myself, and yeah, it was something that was there throughout my life, and it's where I feel at home. Yeah, and as I said, I was a very active kid, and my mom used to say that there was no tree in our neighborhood that I didn't climb on, and one of those trees actually got to me. When I was 11 years old, I fell from a tree, and I broke my thigh bone, my hand, and my chin. And for a restless kid, that was a big hit because I was tied to a bed, and my recovery was long. But to make things even worse, the operation on my leg wasn't that successful. While I was still in hospital, my father noticed that my leg wasn't lying normally, and we figured out that in the end the operation wasn't that successful because my thigh bone when it broke, it went like this, and instead of putting it back like this, they put it back like this. So my leg turned out to be 70% inward, like this. And yes, nothing could be done actually about it because I already had a fixation apparatus in the leg, and I was still in the growth phase, so they said they can't touch that right now, and their solution was that when I walk, that I should step with my foot facing on the other side, and that should correct that rotation over the years. It did not correct that rotation. And okay, I was walking a little funny, but I could play again, and I just wanted to be normal and not the girl who broke her leg, because that was my label now in the neighborhood. And I wanted just to be like a normal kid. And I saw at that period, I saw fear as a motivation. I just wanted to do everything I could, so I just be normal and I can play again. I wanted to be, sorry. I wanted to be on the field, and as I said, I played with boys, and I thought I was very, I was, let's say, fighting for that position among them for a long time, and I didn't want to lose that. So I was back, yeah, and things were fine, but after a while, when I was 17 or 18 years old, I started feeling pain in my hip after walking for a while, and after playing it. And I was so afraid what that pain meant now, that I didn't want to face it. I didn't say anything to anyone for a year and a half, I think. And then one day my mom noticed that something was wrong, that I couldn't hide it anymore, and I burst into tears, and I admitted actually that I was feeling pain. And she said, well, you need to face this. Let's go to the doctor, and and let's see what is it about, what he will say. And so we went. We went to the orthopedic hospital and went to see the doctor that was acquaintance with my father and that was supposed to be a specialist. And they did the X-ray and everything that was needed, and he diagnosed that I had the beginning phase of coxarthrosis, which meant that my hip started to deteriorate because the incorrect position that the bone was in my hip. And he just said, this cannot be operated. No basketball anymore, no running, maybe you can ride a bike. Just like that. Like he was saying next. And for me, my worst fear came to life actually. And I tried the whole way home. I was inconsolable for days. And I couldn't face this, that now that's the truth. And at one point I decided, I don't care. I won't stop playing. This is, I don't care. Complete denial. Like, that was it. And yeah, so I continued in denial for a while. I was feeling pain, but I was ignoring it. Until my mom heard from our family friends that they know a doctor who is a specialist in hips. And then she said, oh, let's go see what he will say. And I was facing choice where I was afraid that he might confirm the same thing, but also I had hope that something can be done. And we went, and fortunately the situation was different this time. He understood that I'm a young person who has a whole life ahead of her, and he understood my passion and he wanted to do something, but he couldn't. He didn't know how at the moment, because I had the triple rotation now, because I was putting my foot like this for 10 years. For 10 years I was learning to walk differently. And now I had one rotation in my hip, another one in my knee, and the third one in my foot. And he didn't know how to fix that. And he said just, I don't know right now, but come in 6 months and we'll see if we can do something. Let me think for a while. And we did, and he figured out, fortunately, a way. And I did the operation, and it was successful. Of course, there was no perfect solutions, but it was good enough, and I was happy about that. Still, when I was choosing if I will do the operation, I went to my faculty. I was 21 years old when I did the operation. I was facing the choice again, should I do this and be, I couldn't walk then for a while again and sacrifice my years in the faculty and not playing and everything, or to do the operation and have a chance maybe later on. And I did. So, because I didn't want to identify again with my injury, I didn't want to be again the girl with crutches, I went to my faculty and I tried again to act as normal as I could. I went to exhibitions, I went to workshops, I did some projects, and I did everything I could. And on one of those workshops, I met the man who I didn't know will become my future boss. And yeah, so we clicked immediately. And when I got the opportunity to work with him later on, I gladly accepted. And he challenged me a lot and pushed me in some uncomfortable situations because he saw some potential in me. And we bonded and stayed in touch even after we finished working in that NGO. And when I finished faculty around, I think I was 24 years old, he called me because he was starting a company for coaching and personal development and offered me to become an intern until I figure out what I will do after faculty and where I will go. And I trusted him. I didn't know what coaching was, but I trusted him, and I wanted to see because I was always interested in psychology, and also I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to see how it looks like when you start a company from the start, and I wanted to see what I can learn. And one time I was talking with him, and I was struggling with some issues at the time, and he continuously started coaching me. And he challenged my thought patterns, he challenged my fears, my beliefs, my perspectives at the current situations. And first I was confused, then I was then relieved, and then I was shocked, and I was completely stunned by it, because I felt deep inside me that something changed. That I felt differently. I saw things much clearer. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, I want to know how to do this. This is awesome, and I want to help people like this. I want to help them change their lives. And my head was like, totally mind blown with the whole experience. So I started working for him, and he started training me to become a coach by also coaching me, because I had to walk my talk before saying anything to anyone in the future. And that wasn't such an easy path, because even though I thought I was open, I wasn't. And as I later learned, many people are actually, one of the biggest fears of people is fear of change, and myself included. And I didn't want to change, I didn't want to grow. But after a while, all of these things, even though I resisted, all of these things settled in, all the new insights, the breakthroughs, the knowledge I gained. And I felt much different. I felt so much more self-aware, and I felt like I grew so much as a person and changed. And that is the time when I started seeing fear as something normal. Okay, everybody is afraid, and that's a normal thing. And that fact meant that, okay, I became less self-critical of myself, and I saw my mistakes now as something I can work on, and not something as my personal flaw. And that was a big step. Yeah, so it made me take much more risk, and with taking risk, I increased the quality of my life and my decisions. Eventually, I started having my own clients, and of course, I was doubting myself every time, because I was thinking, will they think will they think that I'm qualified? Will they think that will I have results with them? Will they think I'm too young, or will I manage to do this? And even now, 4 years after, when I gained some experience and when I had some success, I still have these doubts when I start the beginning phase of coaching something new. But okay, I mean, I see that now, I know that it will happen, I expect it and I accept it. And then when I get the positive feedback, I know it was worth it, so that's okay. A few months ago, actually, a new chapter in my life opened when, due to life circumstances, I stopped working for that company, and I saw that as an opportunity to go my own way and start something of my own. And yeah, I saw this now. Okay, I was terrified, but I saw fear now as a growth opportunity. I saw it as a good sign, because that meant that I was doing something that matters to me, and that I'm going in a good direction, that I'm dreaming big. So I saw it as a good sign. And I had a big vision. I had because sports, basketball, and this whole experience helped me to overcome many obstacles, to become more disciplined, to learn to be patient, to see that if I put the effort in, I will succeed. That winning isn't everything. That it taught me how to lose also, and how to be dignified, how to be a team player. And I wanted to build a sports center where I and other coaches could teach the kids the same things through sports. And that I bring back somehow the true values to youth sports, because now what I see is they focus too much on results and competition and all of these things, and I thought that was not the point of sports in general. Of course, there are those parts, and they are important, but not the most important thing. And because I don't have money right now to build the center, I thought of working with coaches now and coaching them to help kids to transfer these values. And I started interviewing them, I started listening to them, and I started hearing their intentions, their values, their thoughts. And some of them had good intentions and good values, and some of them were really closed in their thinking and really close-minded. And that got me afraid because this thing that I wanted to do seemed so big for me that, and I had to learn a lot. I started learning about business, um, about everything I needed, and I figured out how much I don't know, and all of this meeting these people that didn't think like me and didn't have anything in common with me got me really overwhelmed. And I had big expectations of me, and I didn't want to disappoint anyone because all my friends had believed in me, and I put a lot of pressure on myself because I wanted to start earning as soon as I could because I didn't want to burden my family. And yeah, so I got super overwhelmed and anxious, and I got stuck. And that is when fear acted for me as a block. And I stuck, and I couldn't move in any direction, I didn't know how. And I saw that I have to give up control. I can't control everything. I just had to let go. And I did. And I felt like I emotionally let go of the pressure of the expectations and everything I put on myself. And I decided to take even the tiniest steps, but every day. Even that be like a new thought, a new insight, a new thing about me, something, or I would go somewhere, meet someone. Just a step. It can be small, but step every day. And I saw that I was regaining back my energy and my creativity started sparking again. And this is where I still am. I still don't know how to figure this out, how to overcome this, or where to go and what to do exactly. I want to find my purpose in all of this by connecting my two greatest passions, sports and coaching, but I don't know yet how. And even standing here today for me is a step out of the comfort zone. And I came to a conclusion that maybe we don't have to overcome our fears. Maybe we just need to look in the eyes and take a step.